James Biffle, last year's winner. Remember, he was sick as a dog, thought about climbing out of the car. He too got a lap down late in the race, came back from 30th to end up winning it. That's what we always said about this track. It seems like it is a bizarre race almost every time we've come here.
You know, Marty, setting up for the end of the race, it was good watching these restarts. So you're watching Steve Wallace and Justin Allgaier there. Tight race there.
That is side by side for 7th position.
I was about to say, it really taught these guys where they need to restart when it comes down to the money lap, the last stop.
Well, we are just about 3.5 laps away from, in fact, now 3 laps away from the halfway point, and this race being official. I can tell you that off to the west, it is looking pretty gloomy. But this race will be official before that rain ever gets here.
And this is where it'll get tricky. If that rain does get here before the scheduled end of the race, that's when it's going to get tricky on when is it actually going to get stopped. But
well, Carl Edwards right now trying to close down on Denny Hamlin. Let's get an update. Vince?
Well, they're definitely keeping an eye on the weather. In fact, crew chief Drew Blickensderfer has a friend stationed well outside the racetrack. And, you know, a lot of teams have sophisticated weather radar systems. They're doing it the old-fashioned way with a phone. The friend will text Blickensderfer when it starts raining where he's located, and then Drew will know how close the rain actually is. And I can tell you guys, I'm feeling a couple of sprinkles right now as Edwards tries to make his way toward the front. Dave.
Vince, similar discussion in pole sitter Brad Keselowski's camp. Here's a radio from crew chief Paul Wolf.
All right, there's only going to be 8 laps till halfway here, so still need to be smart here, but if you think you can take something, I'd get what you can.
Get what you can. And about that being smart, Brad Keselowski then said one of the oldest cliches in the racing book. It is, to finish first, you have to first finish. So Brad keeping his steps light there, but trying to do what he can before this rain possibly hits.
Boy, he and Biffle got a good battle going on right here.
Biffle on the high side in the 27. Baker Curb, Ford, and the 2 Dodges underneath him. And here comes Kevin Harvick trying to get into this mix as well.
Remember, the beginning of the race, Brad Keselowski sat on the pole but faded quite a bit. And it looks like they've got this thing turned around now and going the right direction.
Well, you said it when we were down in qualifying. We were getting ready to talk to him. He said, I don't care where this guy qualifies, he will be there at the end of the race.
I'm telling you, when that pay window starts to open up, Brad Keselowski starts moving to the front.
Andy, I think I heard Brad Keselowski earlier say, hey, we had an engine missing. Maybe it's down in 7 cylinders. They switched to the B box on the ignition system. And I was watching his lap times. It looks like that car really picked back up. So I think he's probably all healed up and looking good now. You know, talk about the rain. It's pretty wild out here in Vegas. I'm looking off at turn 1. It's raining over in Las Vegas and at the end of the Dulles Airport, but not here at the track.
Boy, look at Kyle Busch. As we check the time, it is now a 3.2-second lead as we are now past halfway. This race is official. And it doesn't matter what happens with the rain. It's just a matter now of will we get the rest of the laps in. And boy, Kyle Busch out of this race early last year. In fact, it was his only true DNF. There's technically a second one, but that was the race that Denny Hamlin took over for him and then later crashed. So it was credited to him since he started the car back at California last October. But this one was on him, and he freely admitted it. But right now, he's sailing away at 3.5 seconds as we go on board with Jason Leffler. Leffler in 13th, looking ahead at Brian Scott for the position.
Let me tell you one thing that's amazing. You listen to that throttle out of Leffler's car. Andy, I was listening to him go through the corner, just barely part throttle, hardly on the brake at all.
Caution is out for rain. You can see the drops on our lens. And Kyle Busch is sitting in pretty good position right now.
All right, Marty, I should have kept my mouth shut. Said it wasn't raining here, but it's raining all around us.
Maybe you were talking to your imaginary friend sitting beside you or something.
I don't think that's going to get any response from him on that one. And the lucky dog's going to go to Paul Menard. That will put 19 cars back on the lead lap. As Paul, remember, he had a penalty on pit road earlier. That's what set him back. But for Kyle Busch, now it's going to be a matter of, does the rain stop and do we go back to green flag racing?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, it's really, the weather's one of the hardest things to predict, and whether this thing is going to get the complete track wet and stop the race here, or are we going to get it back going again?
I mean, you take a look at it to the south of us, there's nothing there, and it's kind of light, and we've been seeing this a lot throughout the day. I don't think this is going to be a hard rain, but you know what? I'm not. I can't control.
So are you going to make the call here? What would you do? I'd stay out. I mean, they are staying out here, and you can see the guys up front can't afford to come in until they know that the track's going to be raceable.
I know NASCAR, though, Andy. They want to give these guys, race fans, a race.
Oh, they're going to do everything they can.
I guess that's one good thing. We can disagree with each other, and if I was those guys, I'd come down pit road. I would get it done, get it out. Don't get myself stuck.
We're in Vegas, so that's a gamble.
Gamble for it, man. Let's go for it. Of course, I don't know if I'm right or not.
Yeah,
that's a disclaimer right there. Okay?
Some of these cars took the wave around now, so they needed to come to pit road.
Ricky Stenhouse
for them.
And there's Brendan Gaughan as he is in. He peeled off in 15th position.
Car's loose, putting that track bar down. See that?
Yeah, they're not giving up a lot here. They were already back there in those spots, so they can come in and get tires, and they'll be sitting in the catbird seat if it does go back green here after a delay.
Well, it's going to give us an opportunity to step aside for just a break. And there you'll see the top 5. And we'll reset things for you when we come back here to Las Vegas.
I got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you.
Here's what's happened so far in our 5-hour energy rapid recap. Trouble early for Kelly Byers.
Yeah, it looked like Kelly had something happen in the right front suspension parts of the car. Not quite sure. Hit the wall hard, lap 6, brought out the first caution.
Kevin Harvick dominated this race early, then has had 2 bad pit stops that has left him a little bit back in the pack.
Well, they've struggled on pit road all year long for Kevin Harvick. He was gone, hear me? Gone before those pit stops. Now he's mired back in about 7th, 8th place. Still has time, though, if we go green, to get back amongst them.
Danica Patrick started the race in 37th spot, moved up nicely early.
A little racy today. I was impressed with Danica Patrick. Did a good job of mixing it up. Outrun Mike Bliss there a couple of times. You see her go in the corner here with Michael McDowell. Michael turns left. She turns up. Both of them at fault. Both of them tore up. Both of them on the truck.
Kyle Busch has been out in front of this race for the most part since lap number 58. He picked up the lead during an exchange of green flag pit stops, an exchange of green flag pit stops, and held off Carl Edwards on a restart.
Yeah.
He's been gone.
Never won this race. I think he thought he was going to get lucky a little while ago with the rain, but it looks like the rain might subside. They get to go green again, so he's going to have to earn it, which we know he can do.
Now, none of the front runners pitted under this caution, seeing the radar and seeing that there's still rain in the area. You got a couple guys a little bit farther back, some of the guys that took the wave around on the last yellow that now have fresher tires back in the pack. So we'll see what kind of mixing it up we get here. What do they call that over in the casino? Just let it ride?
Let it ride, baby. Let it ride.
All right. Marty, Rusty, and Andy, we're going to let it ride.
Well, we got to get Brad amped up a little bit. I don't think he's excited enough about this race.
We're racing, baby. Come on.
Great stuff, guys. Get ready to go back to green flag racing with Kyle Busch, your leader. Then it's Brian Vickers, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, and Justin Allgaier. That is your top 6. And boy, Justin Allgaier, after his run here last year, could he put himself into a position to get Dodge its first win? Right now, somebody's got to figure out Kyle Busch, because here he goes again. Vickers on the inside. Vickers got a great jump and coming out of 2 on the backstretch. Here comes Kyle.
Yeah, but look at that momentum kicking in again down that back straightaway. It makes that Toyota look like it's got another 100 horsepower.
Carl Edwards trying to follow him as well. And right behind Carl is the 12 of Allgaier.
All these guys have to be getting antsy. They know that weather's coming. They need to get every spot they can get right now.
Everybody in the top 11 all last pitted at lap 86. So that means they've got about 23 laps on these tires. So it's pretty much an equal battle as we go on board with Carl.
You know, Andy, I can tell you, these drivers definitely get a little more cranked up right now, knowing there's a weather around there. They got 91 laps to go. They're not driving the car right now like they did at the beginning of the race. They're driving these cars with a lot of urgency right now.
Yeah, you know how they race on a green-white checker? Well, they don't know when that checker's coming out, so they're racing as hard as they can right now.
Tough break for the fans of Michael Annett. He is behind the wall heading for the garage area. It sounds like it's transmission from what we are hearing on the radio. So Annett is likely out of this race.
And that's too bad, because he had a great run going on. The last 2 or 3 weeks, he's been looking really good out there.
He was 14th before taking it back to the garage area.
See Harvick now trying to make up some of those spots they lost in the pits.
Harvick in 8th position right now. And you see right in front of him, Brad Keselowski, Biffle, Hamlin.